Hi, myself Lawrence. Now I am going to give you a short brief about the databases which I have learned in my class. A database is an organized collection of data generally stored and accessed electronically from a computer system. Where databases are more complex, they are often developed using formal design and modeling techniques. Now I am going to discuss with you few concepts in the database. The first one is understanding the graph database and Neo4j. I have learned about the Neo4j and ways by which it can help in developing relational graph databases. A graph database has proper nodes and relationships. Graph databases helps in recommending search engines including Google, Yahoo and Bing among different other graph databases. The most useful one is Neo4j. Different big firms uses this software including InfoJobs, Justel, HP, Accenture, Telenor and Cisco. All of them get sufficient help from the software based on understanding the different relationships taking place inside the firm rather than developing databases using tables and documents. Graphical representation is better in understanding the relationships. I have come to know about a term named Cypher this week. Development of Neo4j can only be done by writing Cypher codes. Installing Neo4j for the graph applications in the system. In order to develop the graph database for the transit system, it was the first required to install the software step by step. Installing procedure is not difficult and it is mentioned well on the Neo4j website from where the software has been downloaded. Free versions of the software has been installed well. Proper graph database can be only developed using the Neo4j software by writing Cypher codes. Screenshots of the installed homepage of the software is attached below. This is the software for the Neo4j desktop. After installing the Neo4j software, I started a new local graph database, named it as CityLines. Now we will discuss about the Cypher coding. I have learned the Cypher coding. Learning Cypher is not difficult, however, not easy as well. This takes time to learn Cypher coding properly, otherwise, during running errors may occur. In this study, the Cypher code was required to be written 5 times. All of the CSV files are imported into the Neo4j folder. However, only importing does not help in developing database, and here Cypher codes were required to be written so that proper databases of the datasets can be developed. One thing I have kept in my mind was removing the name of each entity before performing the important operation. This was required to be done as during writing Cypher codes those names had been written based on each row. I consulted with my friends and read class notes to better understanding queries needed to be written on Neo4j using the Cypher for datasets and the graph database. Writing Cypher codes for the database using Neo4j. For developing the database on entities mentioned in the datasets, I have written proper Cypher codes on Neo4j. 4 separate codes were required to written for lines, cities, stations, and station lines. The queries were written by me based on the entities of each of these datasets. These are the sample codes I have mentioned here, which I was used for my project. I have chosen the 4 datasets. For the 4 datasets, these are the queries which I have run in the Neo4j to get the proper database. Performing Cypher code for the dataset. I have learned by which Cypher code can be run on Neo4j. In the previous week, I understood Cypher codes and developed the same for datasets. However, I did not learn how to run these on Neo4j so the database can be developed. Better operations of return had been learned as well as situations that may occur if there is a missing node. Moreover, I came to know about for each and load CSV in proper manner. These are the screenshot which I was good output for the cities data set. Like this, I have used another data set. The name is lines dataset. The format extension for the dataset is .csv. This is the output table for the lines dataset as well as stations and the station lines. Now we will discuss about the Cypher for the graph database. How to perform it on the software. I learned about ways to write complete Cypher codes for the database development. Starting from basic node, finding to match by relationship, two ways by which shortest path can be identified. All of these things were being learned by me this week. However, I came to know the graph database cipher code is difficult and it cannot be learned in 1 week. Some portions were easy to learn, however, most of them were critical. Even though Neo4j has been used for here developing the database, however, some knowledge related to MongoDB had been gained for future purpose. Here, especially after developing the graph database, ways by which this graph database can be used for the recommendation purpose had been understood. Two types of recommendation which had been used here for content based and collaborative filtering. These are the recommendation techniques for the graph database. Based on this content filtering, recommendations was being provided for a city based on the nation of its origin. The developer cipher code is the first code is match. It will be matches the city names in a proper location. These are the few other codes for the graph database. To give you a brief about my assignment task 1 and also task 2. I have chosen a dataset and I have developed a few queries to get a proper database. In the task 1, the dataset that have been used in the study that of the transit system around the world. There is a very helpful database that features that global transit system and the names, track length and time period of construction of each of them. Since the details are spread across multiple datasets, this graph database can allow any recommender system to provide insight into the system. It is also vital to access the development of transit systems across the globe and the country or the city that has the upper lead in the matter. Furthermore, the time duration for each project can also be developed for better output and improvements in the future. Hence, the dataset is useful to access the development of transit system across the world. The link for the dataset is provided, or I will show the link so that it can be referred to for validation and verification process. This is the link where where I have been chosen the datasets from the online. I have chosen the dataset named as lines. The lines dataset contains attributes like line ID, which is the primary key of the dataset. The city ID is for the foreign key in this database. The line underscore name is also provided here with URL underscore name. For each of the lines, the datasheet provides information about the transit line across the globe within the respective cities registered in the database. After taking the dataset, we will run few queries to get the output table. First of all, the data set which I have been chosen from the kaggle.com, I have placed in the root folder of the Neo4j database folder, desktop folder. This is the path. This is the path of the Neo4j desktop. I have placed the dataset. Have placed the lines dataset is here. Now I am going to run few queries on this to get the data in a tabular format. Now now I will write the query. Actually I have performed the queries in the Neo4j before. So I have prepared my document like this. I will choose my query from my document. Before starting, we have to create a graph here by giving a proper password, and we have to start the graph here, and after that we have to choose the Neo4j browser. If we choose this browser, we will get the browser here. In here we have to enter the queries for the data set to get the data from the data set in a tabular format. I have copied the query from my document. I have pasted here. This is the end of the session. Thank you.